Hello, I'm Julia and I knit a lot, and on this channel I like to share about my creative adventures, mainly knitting, and I'm so glad that you decided to click on this video. This is my second video on this channel, and before I get into the knitting, I would like to thank everybody who decided to subscribe to this channel, who liked my last video, who commented, who sent me a nice message, and thank you so much for watching. And if this is your first video that you're watching from here, thank you for being here. So how have I been since last time? I remember that I said last time that it was quite rainy and cold for July weather, and that it was cozy, and it remained like that for almost the rest of the month. It was really weird. The weather was kind of weird. Yeah, I guess you're not really interested in a weather update, but it kind of affected my knitting, I think. So it was quite cool and very rainy. It rained a lot, so I wasn't really into summer knitting, and I actually noticed that I gravitated more toward fall knitting, and I was thinking about getting some of my older whips out, older projects that I had put away for a while. And now and it kind of pushed me more into the cozy knitting mode. But it also affected my mood quite a bit. I'm this kind of person that gets affected by the weather. It really affects my mood. So yeah, it's not a lot of summer knitting that I have to show. But still, I actually got quite a lot done. And yeah, I was really busy. It is the summer break here in school, so my kids are home. If you haven't watched the last video, I live in Switzerland. I have 2 kids and a husband, and I am 37, and I am really busy. And yeah, this is where I live, and just for context, you know, me talking about the weather and stuff, maybe it's good to know where I actually am. So it is the summer break here in school, and so the kids are home a lot, and it's just generally there's a lot to do. And we went to for a couple of days we went to the mountains, to the Swiss mountains here, and we visited some family members. Our family has a cabin in the mountains, and which is just a huge privilege. I think it's just wonderful that we have that. And so we went to visit some family, and we spent a couple of days there. And I also recorded some footage of the surroundings and the scenery, just to give you maybe a little glimpse into the Swiss mountain life in summer. It's really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I couldn't stop taking videos, and you know, I have lived here my whole life, almost my whole life in Switzerland, apart from 1 year when I lived in China. So I'm used to this landscape, and I still think it's so beautiful. Yeah, so I took a little bit of footage, and I think I will insert it at the end of the video, so you can, if you're interested, you can have a look. Yeah, so let's start. Okay, this time I actually took better notes than last time. So, oh, I forgot. Oh Oh my goodness. I forgot to put on my finished object. I wanted to put this on and show it off. I didn't put on any knitwear because I wanted to show off my shawl, and then I completely forgot to put it on. It's actually not shawl weather here anymore. You know, I complained about the cold weather and stuff, but now it's since yesterday it has gotten really hot and summery again. Summer has returned to Switzerland, so it's really, really sunny. It's also quite bright, and so it didn't really occur to me to put on my shawl. So I guess I will have to put it on now. So this is my first finished object. I already showed it off last time when it was still a work in progress, and it was on my needles, and I was in the middle of a row, so you couldn't really see it that well. But now, let me stand up so you can have a look. It's actually quite big. So this is the Oops, I Shrunk It Again by Lesley and Robinson, and it is a 2-color brioche shawl. Let me just... And I already talked about this quite a bit last time, so I don't want to go into it too much. But I just a little summary. I used Manos del Uruguay Alma in the color Resilience, and let me see, I prepared everything. Oh, it's over there. Wait. Got it. Okay. So this is the leftovers from this project. I used the colorway Resilience in the base Manos del Uruguay Alma, and this it is a single ply merino, and this was already frogged from a different shawl that I wasn't happy with. So it is already I had many tiny yarn nuggets, and it already has suffered a bit. Let's put it that way, because I already knit it up, I had blocked it, and then I frogged it, and because it's a singles yarn, it didn't really in the frogging process, I guess it got a little bit damaged is not the right word, but you can see that it's already, some parts are already kind of pilling a little bit. And I think it also it probably would have pilled anyway, because it's such a soft singles yarn, and I'm not sure if this base is actually still available, and or if it has been discontinued. But if it has, I'm thinking maybe that could be a reason, because looking at this while I was working on it, I can already see some pilling on the shawl, and I have only just finished it. So yeah, I'm not sure how well this is going to hold up. I mean, I have stuffed this into a bag to, carry around and work on it, and it has come to Greece with me on vacation, and it has traveled quite a bit. So I guess it has already, that's probably the reason why it already has some, can I show this? It already has like some pilling on it. Yeah, we will see how well it holds up. I already have made another brioche shawl that I have showed last time, which wasn't 2-color brioche but single color brioche, and I actually really like that shawl, also this one, because it's really lightweight, and you can kind of scrunch it up together, and you can stuff it in a bag. if you're going somewhere, if it's too warm and then you take it off, you can kind of push it into the bag. But if I do that, then I guess it will get a lot of friction. So I think it will probably pill. So yeah, I'm expecting that. So that's the variegated yarn, is the Resilience by Manos del Uruguay. And the other one is Fiber Fox, the yak sock base in the colorway Obsidian. This is a little bit what I have left from the 100 gram skein. And the yarn composition of this one is, this is the label, all scrumpled up. 70% superwash merino, 20% yak and 10% nylon, and this skein was actually 107 grams, and I have 13.2 grams left. And I'm just squeezing that back in there. So I said last time that because I had this yarn in all those small bits, I had the plan, or that's also what I did. I decided to always alternate the main color and the background color whenever one of those tiny yarn nuggets was used up. So that's how there's this kind of striping effect. Now that I have blocked it and the brioche has grown so much, the striping is not as noticeable anymore. That's probably how I would wear it. And I also said that I want to use up all of this yarn. And as you can see, I did not. I got so over it at some point. I was just over it. I started this shawl April 10th, and I bound off on the 1st of August. And I was just, so I worked on this for nearly 4 months, and it is a 2-color brioche on 3.25 millimeter needles, and I just, it took forever. And at some point I also felt that my hands started to hurt, and so I decided, you know what, it's already really big. I don't think I would have wanted it any bigger anyway, so I'm glad that I decided to stop early and not follow through with my original plan to use all of the yarn, because it would have gotten too big. And I just didn't enjoy knitting on it anymore. I just wanted it to be done. So that's why I still have some left, and I have no idea what I will do with it. Yeah, but we will see. And then for the bind off, I did an I-cord bind off. She gives you 2 options in the pattern. You could do an elastic bind off or the I-cord bind off, and I just think the I-cord bind off looks really nice. And I decided to use the main color for the bind off, simply because this is a twisted yarn, applied yarn, and not a singles yarn. So I thought this would probably hold up a little bit better to friction, and because it's the edge of the shawl, I thought it would probably make sense to not put a singles yarn that has already been frogged before at the edge. So this is what I had left from the first skein, and I also had a second skein, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be enough for the I-cord, so I decided to wind up the second skein and use the second skein for the I-cord, and yeah, just to make sure that I have enough yarn, because sometimes those I-cord bind-offs can eat up a lot of yarn. And it actually, I think it took about 9 grams, so this would have been okay. This is 13 grams. It would have been fine. But yeah, better safe than sorry. Yeah, so this is my first finished object, and I will probably have to take this off at some point because it's already getting a bit warm in here. So maybe one last word about this shawl. I think I'm happy with the outcome, but I have worked on this for so long now, I'm kind of over it. So I have looked at this for so long that I think for now, and now with the weather is also getting hotter again, I will probably put this away for a couple of weeks and not look at it again. Yeah, and then maybe when I get it out again for fall, for cooler weather, I will be more excited about it. But for now, I'm just like, I'm just glad it's done. Yeah. So there was another there's another small finished object that I mentioned last time that I don't have any more to show because it was a gift for my stepmother. It was the Tree Hugger Wrist Warmers by Drops. It's a free pattern, and I will insert a picture. I took a picture, and I gave those wrist warmers to her when we visited in the mountains. It was her birthday, so I made a little birthday present, and she already has a hat in the same yarn, the classic ribbed hat by Purl Soho, and and she really loves that hat, so it was a perfect match. I still have the yarn, so I still have some of the yarn. This is the yarn that I used, and it's Drops Lima, and I used for the wrist warmers 43 grams. So you can make this with one ball. That's really good for, using up what you have. And the yarn composition of this yarn is 35% wool and 37% alpaca. And I think I like it. I think it's soft. This is how I test now because this is my most sensitive area. I test itchiness like this. Because sometimes yarn feels soft when you touch it like this, but when you wear it, then it's still prickly. Yeah, so I think I'm actually planning to make a hat for myself also in this yarn. And she really liked it. So yeah, that's another small finished object that I had finished within like a week. It was really quick. Okay, I had to take off the shawl. It's too warm for a shawl. And the next project is even more seasonally inappropriate, if you can call it that. So because it was so cold and rainy, and I wasn't in the mood to work on summer knits. So I decided to pick up something that I had actually finished. It was basically a finished object, and it was just so ridiculous that I hadn't just completely finished it yet. So it is the Saglan, I think, sweater by, I think her name is pronounced Ailbíona McLochlainn. Correct me if this is wrong. And I had started this did I write this down? I don't think so. I had started this in spring, sometime in spring, maybe even late winter. And it was quickly, or maybe even in winter, I don't remember, but it was basically done in spring. I remember that. Before I started the other projects that I took on vacation in April, this was basically done. But I wasn't happy with the neckline. So it was lingering, sitting in the project bag, and I hadn't I just didn't feel like picking it up again because it was a thick and cozy winter sweater, and I just couldn't be bothered to redo the neckline again. I think it was the third time that I was redoing the neckline, and so it just lingered, and it was basically a finished object, but it wasn't finished. So I took it out again during rainy July, and I finally did it. So this is it, and maybe I will put it on very quickly, like for 10 minutes, because it's too warm for this kind of weather. This is it. Okay, let me put this on so you can see how it looks on the body. Okay, I'm back. Ugh. I don't think I can wear this for very long today, but yeah, I think it's good to see it on, like, actually how it fits on me and not just me holding it up. So this is the Saglan by Ailbíona McLochlainn, as I already said, and I knit the size 4, and I used Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo in the colorway 82T. And I used 324 grams, and I also used Rowan Kid Silk Case in pink 4 balls. So I actually have some of the yarn here. This is the Noro yarn. This is a partial skein from that yarn. You probably have seen Noro yarn before. This is a very popular and very recognizable yarn, I would say. There was this time period, like maybe a year ago, 1.5 years ago, when everybody, like not everybody, but many YouTubers were using Noro Madara, and it was just like a sudden hype, I think, and it has kind of disappeared. But yeah, that's what more or less the time when I bought this yarn. And the yarn composition is 40% wool, 25% silk, 25% polyamide, and 10% mohair. And this is the label. You might have seen it before. It is also used in some of the petite knit patterns. She has this, I think is it the terrazzo pullover that uses this yarn? But a different colorway. And I think that's more or less probably the point when Noro, this type of Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo, probably this base suddenly became more popular also in the Western knitting community. And this is the Rowan Kid Silk Case mohair that I have used. I still have some left, and I don't really know what to do with it, because right now I can feel the mohair. Of course now it's warm and I'm only wearing a tank top underneath, so it's touching my skin a lot, and I can feel it. So I need to stop buying mohair. And my husband, he gave me for Christmas last year, he gifted me 2 skeins of hand-dyed Sisleriget mohair, and I want to use it, but I'm a little bit hesitant if I will feel it. So when I use it, I will probably knit something like a cardigan with a V-neck or something like that, something that doesn't touch my neck a lot, and maybe we'll do the button band without mohair. Yeah, but this is the yarn that I have used, and there's a story behind this yarn actually. So I bought this in spring 2024, late winter, early spring 2024, and I saw this particular colorway, this T82. It's actually a discontinued colorway. It is similar to the Omitama that Petite Knit has used, but the base color in this is this light pink. And I saw someone do, I saw also a project on Ravelry with this base yarn and a light pink mohair, and it looked so good. And I actually know that these colors aren't great for my complexion, but I didn't care. I just wanted to use it. So I was kind of obsessed. I went on a hunt for this colorway, and I just couldn't find it anywhere. Noro yarn is actually not very commonly available in Switzerland. There are some online shops that do sell Noro, but it is they didn't have this particular colorway. Then I wanted to, I saw it in an online shop in Norway, but they didn't have enough yarn. They only had like 2 balls, and I wanted to make a whole sweater. So I couldn't buy it there. And in the end, I bought it in the US, and I almost never buy yarn from the US simply because of shipping expenses and VAT that we have to pay in Switzerland. And now with taxes, I guess it's probably getting even more expensive. But at that point, it was still more or less okay to affordable for me to buy it in the US. I mean, it was expensive, but I really, really wanted this yarn. So I thought, okay, I'm willing to pay for it. And I think I bought 5 balls. And I ordered from, I think the shop is called Knitting on the Lamb. And I think it's in New York, I'm not sure. And the store, the online shop, everything was great, service was great. But then they shipped it rather quickly, and then I just didn't get the yarn for about 3 months. And it was just, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this yarn. And I was wondering what's going on. And I was also looking at the tracking number, and it didn't really update. I think the last update was that it had left the country, and it was kind of, I was imagining the yarn packet, the package somewhere being lost in international waters, somewhere in international limbo, probably, somewhere in a port, sitting in a container, waiting to be processed. And it was like that for several months. And I also asked the store, and they really tried to help me. It wasn't their fault, it was somewhere the shipping just didn't really, there must have been a mistake by the shipping company. And so it just, they also went to the postal office and asked about the package, and they also couldn't help. And at that time, there was also this incident in the Red Sea where where the Suez Canal was blocked. So all the international, all the international shipping, the container ships had to go around Africa if they wanted to travel between Asia and Europe. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it's somewhere lost there, and because of that, all the big European ports also had huge issues with ships not arriving on schedule, and there was just like a blockage, and ships had to wait outside ports because they couldn't be processed and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, maybe that's the reason why this is not arriving. It will arrive at some point. And then I got an update from the tracking number, you can track the shipment. And it said, it's in Auckland, New Zealand. What is going on? And then the next update was that it is on Cook Islands. So my yarn went to the Cook Islands, and then it hung out somewhere in a postal office on Cook Islands for about a month. It probably sat somewhere in a corner, I have no idea. And then at some point, it traveled back to Los Angeles. and then from Los Angeles across the continent. And then from there, it finally came to Europe and arrived at my door. So this is a very, precious yarn. It traveled around the world. It had some vacation on the Cook Islands, and it also it's a discontinued yarn, so it's not really easy to get hold of. So for me, it was like I really wanted to make something special with this. Okay, that was a long story. So I decided to make the Saglan, and one consideration behind choosing the pattern was that I felt, these colors, this very soft pink, and there's also like bright blue and yellow and all these kind of soft colors. There's some purple. I didn't want to match it with a very feminine pattern. I kind of wanted to match it with a very clean and with a clean pattern, with clean lines. And I think she even writes that it is inspired by military style garments, the shaping and everything. So I thought that's probably a good combination, because my style is not very feminine. It's more like simple and classic. So I decided to kind of contrast the feminine colors with a very clean pattern. And I actually really like this pattern. I think the shoulder shaping, it sits so well. You can see that it is not a raglan, and it's not a raglan in the sense that the raised neck is not shaped with. I think it's a while since I've made this. It wasn't shaped with short rows, I think, but with increases. And it was really important to me that the neckline sits well, and the shoulder, it also sits really nicely. And then here you have the raglan. I think is this called a contiguous shoulder? I think. That's why it's called Saglan. Yeah, now I remember. I think it's a combination with saddle shoulder and raglan. And that's why she called it Saglan, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see the shoulder fits really well on the body. And there are many modifications that you can make to this pattern. So she gives you options for different necklines. She gives you options for wide sleeves, like I did. I did super wide sleeves. I don't think I have any sweaters with such wide sleeves. That's why I chose to do this. This one is a bit shorter because I had blocked this twice and this once, and you can see the difference. You can also have different options for the body. I decided to do a straight body, and it's quite loose on me. That's what I wanted. I wanted a lot of positive ease. I did a straight body, but you can also do like an A-line if you want. And what I did, a small modification. I need to climb on my chair to show. I did a split hem, and for the bottom ribbing and for the cuffs, I did not go down a needle size for the ribbing, and I actually do that quite a lot. I don't enjoy the look of the ribbing cinching in, the ribbing being tighter than the stockinette. So I actually, very often, I don't go down a needle size. And I think it's fine. And then, what else? For the neckline. So the neckline was the big issue for me with this pattern. I originally wanted to do a folded neckline. So the neckline is, you go back, you pick up, and then you do the neckline. And I planned on doing a thick folded chunky neckline, but I didn't like the look of it on me. It just didn't, maybe it was the yarn, or it just didn't, I didn't enjoy it. And also the mohair in it, you know, so I ripped it back. And, you know, also with the Nodo yarn, that was another thing, because there's a lot of color changing in here. Most of the time I tried to let the yarn do it what it wants. I didn't do a lot of color management, except for some parts on the sleeve, I think. But for the neckline, I then got to a point in the yarn where I just didn't enjoy the colors that were appearing, and I didn't want to neck. There were, you know, there are some parts in the yarn where there's a lot of dark colors. Maybe this, I think this is, there's like navy and dark blue, and it's okay if it appears throughout the sweater, but I didn't want it to be so prominent on the neck. I wanted the neck to be a light color. So that was another reason why I think that the second time around I ripped back, because I didn't enjoy the color. And then I did it a third time, and the third time I already did the elastic bind off. I think I did an Icelandic bind off, if I'm not, it's been a couple of months, so I'm not quite sure. And I just didn't like the look, the way the edge was a little bit wavy, and I just didn't like how it looked. And it was also a little bit taller, maybe a centimeter taller, and it was too high for my liking. So I knew I had to unpick the bind off, and I had to rip back about a centimeter, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. So it was sitting, or it was lingering for maybe 6 months. And then a couple of weeks ago, I decided, you know, let's just do this. And it was done in maybe an hour. So yeah. And now I'm melting in this thing. But it's really, I really like the look of it. I really like the feel of it, the fit. The feel, I'm not so sure, to be honest. I think I should stop using mohair. I'm just sensitive, it seems. If I wear, you know, in winter, I would probably usually wear a long sleeve shirt under this. I don't usually wear sweaters with only a camisole underneath. So that will also help, you know, mitigate the problem. And maybe also the more I wear it, the softer it will get. Yeah, so I think it will be okay. Just giving you one last look. Okay, I'm taking this off because it's getting too warm. See you in a bit. Hello, I'm back. So, those were my finished objects, and it's already almost 40 minutes, but that's okay. You know, this time, one of those finished objects, the Saglan sweater, it was only, you know, a matter of finishing a neckline. So I don't usually have 3 finished objects in a month, to be honest. So let's bring my current whip. It's already peeking out. Maybe you can guess what this is. Maybe not. I will tell you. This is something that has been hibernating for a while. I have put this away for maybe 9 months. So I started this, it's a blanket. I started it in August 2024. Oh wait, my notebook is somewhere in there. So I have started this blanket. It's the Incredible Blanket by Purl Soho. I have started it on August 17th, 2024, which is almost a year ago. And I remember that I put it away probably at the beginning of October, when the Stephen West Mystery Knit-along came out. I'm always a little bit on the fence with the Mystery Knit-along, and you know, Stephen West and his team, they are just so good at marketing and at selling you something that you kind of feel like you have to do it, because otherwise you will miss out. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. Let's talk about that when I get my hibernating MCal from last year out, and then when I finish that one. So I remember that I was starting the Mystery Knit-along, and I'm knitting this blanket on 3.25 millimeter needles, which is absolutely crazy. And I remember that I needed those needles for the MCal, and also the very long cord. I needed the cord and the needles. So I put the blanket on hold, and I started the shawl. And I never picked the blanket up again until maybe last week. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I've been wanting to pick it up again for a while, but the 3.25 millimeter needles and the long cord were, in the meantime, I had put them on my brioche shawl. For some reason, I have so many projects that I'm using 3.25 millimeter needles for. I need to stop that. I don't know. You know, progress is slow with those tiny needles, and I am kind of always short on 3.25 millimeter needles. I think it's US 4. US 3. It's US 3. So, yeah, I've been wanting to get back to this blanket, but I had to finish the shawl first. That was probably another reason why I just wanted to get done with the shawl, because I really wanted to get back to this. So this is absolutely, I'm loving it, and it is so colorful. Oh, let me show you. This will be enormous when it's done. It's so wide, I cannot even put it in frame. Let me go back even further. This is so enormous, and I put it on my bed, on one of our beds, and it's almost the width of the bed, so it's huge, and I love it. But maybe a few words. I modified this pattern. So as I have said, it's the Incredible Blanket by Purl Soho. It's a free pattern, and I have modified it to use, I really want to use all of the yarn. And I think if you cast on the number of stitches according to the pattern, you will not use up all of it. You will end up with a lot of leftovers. So I kind of calculated, I don't remember, it's a year ago. I probably kind of somehow calculated how many stitches, how wide I can get it to use up all of the yarn. And I cast on 350 stitches on this tiny needle. And another modification I did was I added 3 I-cord stitches to each side. And then you just do this pattern repeat, and it's a very simple 2-row pattern repeat. This will get very unwieldy once it gets bigger. So you change colors every 2 rows, and you do. It's a free pattern, so I'm not giving away anything. The pattern repeat is use 1 row and 1 repeat. You do purl 1 and then knit 1 below, purl, knit 1 below, and so on. The row back, the wrong side row is always a knit row, and then for the next stripe, the pattern is offset. So you will first knit 1 below, then purl 1, and just keep on going like that. For the colors, what I'm using is, oh wait, let me get that. I have, this is probably easier to show. This is a set from Purl Soho. They released, I'm not sure when they released it, but they had a sale on it last August for like 20%, something like that. And you know, this set has 40 colors. 40 colors. And it's linen quill minis. It's the linen quill mini set. And the pattern that they have on their website is made with this set. And the idea is that you divide the colors. They give you a guideline for how to divide the colors. So they will tell you category 1, which they call warm colors, and then they give you 20 colors. And category 2, the cool colors, are those 20 colors, and then you kind of divide them. You have to have 4 types of containers or bags or whatever. That's why it's so big, to then use for your color management. So you put the warm colors into 1 bag, and then you blindly pick a color from the bag, and you use it, and then you put it in the in another bag where you put all the warm colors that you've used already. So you kind of go through all the warm colors before you go through them again. I hope I hope this is clear. So you always alternate picking ones from the warm colors, picking ones from the cool colors, and so on. Back and forth, until you've used all 40 colors. And then you start again. So you have like, I think, until here, this hot pink, this one, this is all the first pass of colors. So these are all different colors. And now I'm on the second pass through. The reason why I'm calling it what they call warm colors, I don't necessarily agree with their categories for warm colors and cool colors. I think it's more like reds, oranges, browns in one category, and pinks, and then the other category is more like blue, green, gray, and I think that's more or less it. So, pink is not necessarily a warm color. The pink that I've used last, which is this one, is in my opinion not a warm color. It's a cool color. It has a very strong blue undertone. I don't know if you can see this on camera. So I would actually call this a cool color. But yeah, I mean, so that's why I just, in my head, I call it category 1 and category 2. And then you just go along. You just pick colors every 2 rows, you switch, and it's just, it will be a very, very colorful blanket. As you can see. When I was so, this looks so appealing to me. I just love colors, and the way these colors are arranged, it's just so appealing. So again, I don't usually buy from the US because of shipping and all these things. But this one was 20% off, and a huge set like this. These are all 25-gram balls, so it's 40 times 25. I think it's a kilo, 1,000 grams of yarn. So it's just the normal retail price is it was quite expensive, I think, but 20% from a large number is quite substantial. So it kind of evened out the cost of shipping, and I was so intrigued by this, so I just had to buy it. And I think it just it makes me happy. But I asked my husband, because I was a little bit hesitant, maybe it's too colorful. So I asked my husband, and he loves colorful things. When we buy stuff for the house, he usually, and there's like an option, I don't know, let's say a device, let's say a coffee machine, because he loves coffee. He has recently bought a coffee machine. Let's say there's like black and white and red. He would pick the red. So I asked him, what do you think? Is it too colorful? And I was kind of banking on him saying, oh, no, it's great, because I know that he likes colorful stuff. But he said, oh yeah, maybe it's a bit much. And I was, oh no, you're only reinforcing the doubts that I already had about this pattern. But I bought it anyway, and I know it will be like super bright and super colorful, but I think for me it's like color therapy. One goal that I have behind this pattern is I want to knit it, I want to pick it back up again in winter when it's kind of gray and gloomy here, and I really I hope to kind of get some joy from looking at these colors, because I really struggle in winter when the world outside is not as colorful. I just miss it. No green trees and no flowers, and the sky is gray and everything else is gray because we don't have that much snow anymore. So this is kind of hopefully this, although it's very colorful, I hope that this will, I call it my happy rainbow. I hope it will bring me comfort and joy in winter. I have no illusion that this will be done in winter. I mean, this is huge. I'm more envisioning myself knitting on it in winter. Yeah, so I love it. Oh, maybe one thing that I have to mention. If you do knit this pattern, it is, it's not super mindless. It depends. If I sometimes read and knit at the same time, depending on the yarn and the pattern and stuff. And with this one, I have tried it. I have done that before, I think, especially for the wrong side when you're only doing knit stitches. But you do have to pay attention when you do the like knit one below, that you do it into that you don't get that you do the right patterning. So because it's always offset, if you kind of do a mistake and it suddenly it aligns, the pattern does not work anymore. And that happened to me actually. Let me find it. You can see maybe that this blue stitch is looser than the rest. I don't know how well you can see it. This one. From here all the way over here, all this, I somehow I probably put it down. I was interrupted, or I remembered that I had to do something or whatever, and I put it down. I picked it back up, and I made a mistake. Instead of I started dipping knitting below into the wrong stitch. So instead of, let's say, purl, knit one below, I did knit one below, purl. So it kind of became switched. And then instead of having this offset pattern, it starts to create a line, and that's not what it's really visible. So, and usually, you know, when I make mistakes, I sometimes just leave them. I have mistakes in the I-cord, for instance, where I forgot to slip 3. So there's a little mistake here. I leave it because it's not noticeable in such a big blanket. But this one was really noticeable. So I had to think back, but I only noticed when I was already working with this dark brown yarn that I had made a mistake in the blue yarn. And because you always knit one below, it also affects the color below. So it affected this kind of peachy color. So I had to first I tried to, you know, dip down and kind of re-knit the stitch that I was supposed to knit, but it just messed up the tension because it was a knit one below. It really just messed it up. So I undid the whole blue section. But what I did, and I have no idea how this is called. Where is the mistake? I'm not going to undo the whole row. So I left the working yarn, the brown yarn, attached, put it aside, and then I started to undo all the blue, both rows, until I had like 2 yarns attached, the working yarn and a very long piece of blue yarn that was now just this piece, just this section of the row, of 2 rows I had undone. And then I kind of re-knit the yarn, the blue yarn, and at the same time I had to correct the stitches below, I think, as well, the peach yarn, because I had knit into it. I had to fix it. It was quite annoying. So if you knit this pattern, whenever you do this section with the knit below, I think it's really good to pay attention once in a while. You don't knit into the color that you have just used, but the one below that. No, you do knit into the color that you have just used, but then your working yarn will touch the color that you have used before. So here you can see the hot pink is now touching the brown. Okay. So I will work on this in the background. I will not show this every time I have worked on it because it's a long-term project. And I have been talking for almost an hour again. Yeah, and this is not a very portable project. I have, in this tote bag, I have 4 more bags. And I keep picking out bags like this, and then I have, you know, I should pick one randomly, and then, oh yeah, this is the next color. And this is supposed to be an exercise for myself, a challenge that I've put for myself, to kind of just let go of control, to just use whatever appears, but it's not working. I mean, toward the end, when you have used up those 20 colors and you're kind of approaching the end of your pass through the colors, you just have to use whatever remains. But then again, when you have all the colors available again, you kind of start to get picky. And sometimes 2 colors appear next to each other that have very low contrast, and so I will sometimes draw again and again and again. Okay, oof. This will be a long one. Thank you for sticking around. I have a new cast on. So this is the yarn that I have shown last time. I have 11 balls of this because I don't know what happened. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I don't think I need 11 balls of tin line, but here we are. I have 11 balls of this tin line, Sandnesgarn tin line. I have shown it last time in this super bright color called Flame Scarlet, and it is really hard to take pictures of this, actually, of this whip, because it the camera just kind of loses the camera just kind of goes wild whenever you try to take a picture of this color. So imagine a coral color, but neon, like really intense color, like a really intense coral color. That's what it is. And I don't know what has gotten into me. Why did I buy 11 balls of this? And now I'm making a summer cardigan. And whenever I wear this next summer, you will find me in any crowd because this is so bright. So I have started. Can I? Imagine a huge, oversized summer layer in this color. I will never get lost again. My kids will always know where I am. So I actually researched for a pattern for a long time for this. I had a very specific idea in mind. I wanted to recreate a summer layer that I have that is really oversized. It has like 3/4 sleeves and huge wide sleeves, and it's very loose. And it's an open cardigan. It's like nothing fancy. I think my mom bought it for me when she was on vacation in Bali or something like that, like 5 years ago or even more. So it's like it's probably a very cheap garment that she bought somewhere, on a market. I don't know. So, but I really like wearing it, and I really like how it fits. It's very loose and flowy, and I wanted to recreate it. That's why I bought so much of the tin line, because I knew it will take much yarn, and I never really found anything that matched my idea. And then I also tried holding it double, getting a bigger gauge, because that would give me more options in terms of patterns. Because this small gauge is probably not super popular, so there are not as many patterns in this 28 stitch gauge as in, let's say, a 21 stitch gauge. So I found a lot of patterns that I liked, but they were always a bigger gauge. So I tried holding it double and maybe doing a pattern in a bigger gauge, but I didn't like the look of it. One thing that I like about the tin line is that it's so drapey, and I just prefer the look of it when it's whole single, which is like a small gauge. In the end, I ended up doing the Maema cardigan, Maema, and it is by Nodecker, and I did a larger size than was recommended. So I think the positive ease for this, I don't remember off the top of my head what the recommended ease is, but I remember choosing a bigger ease. I wanted a bigger ease than she recommended. So I'm knitting a size L, and on this tin line. So that's what you're seeing here, and it's not there's not much to see yet because it's just the raglan increases. Also, I didn't do the brioche stitch. She has like a pattern, brioche pattern, I think, on the body of the cardigan, and I didn't do that because I just had knit a huge brioche shawl, and I was just over brioche. I didn't want to do it anymore, so I just chose to do it in a plain stockinette. So this is just like a stockinette raglan. There's not much to see yet. And I decided another modification that I did. This is so bright, I don't think I can show anything in this yarn. I will just have to describe it. I just did the raglan increases a little bit differently. She does knit front back for the raglan increases and right next to each other. So and I tried it, and I just didn't really like it, or it wasn't really what I was going for. So I decided to do a raglan increase with a two-stitch raglan, and then on both sides of those 2 stitches I'm doing the traditional make one left, make one right, and that's, I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. So now I'm working on the raglan increases, and my plan with this one is I will just finish the raglan when I'm done with the raglan increases, and when I'm like reach the point that is described in the pattern when I should split for sleeve, or maybe I will split for sleeve earlier, whatever I feel like. But I will knit this project until I'm at the point where I split for sleeve. I will do the split for the sleeves, and then I will probably put it on hold and pick it up again in spring, because I know that I will not finish this in anytime soon, and I don't want to stress myself about it. I know that I will probably also not August is quite hot here, but after that I will probably not have much use for it in the coming months. So I will probably just pick it up again in spring. First I will do the increases, I will split for the sleeves, and one big reason why I'm doing that is I need the stitch markers. I realized that I'm running out of stitch markers. So there are 8 stitch markers in here. I need them. So that's why I want to finish the raglan increase. And I will put it away, and then when I pick it up again, I just have to knit straight for the body. So it should be easy to pick it up again. And I'm knitting this on 3mm needles. What is wrong with me? And I'm also knitting this on short needles, because I will probably have my other 3mm US 2.5 somewhere else. There are so many, I have so many small projects on a small gauge at the moment. I need to stop it. Yeah. Okay. So I actually have more to tell you. I hope you're still here. You can pause the video whenever you want and come back later. I do that sometimes. Because this time around I actually have acquisitions. I have told you last time that I try not to buy too much yarn. I have this goal for this year to use more yarn that I buy. So I also have a small stash update, because it's July has just finished, so it's exactly 6 months, and I think that's a good point to do a small stash update. I have tracked my yarn usage in this notebook, and I have written it down by hand, and so now I have added up all the numbers of yarn that has come in and yarn that has gone out, and I will add the numbers, because that it's just easier if you have it visual, I think.
So I have bought yarn that has come in, either gifted or bought, whatever, 2,797 grams, so which is more or less 2.8 kilos of yarn. That has come in the last 6 months. It seems a lot, seems to be a lot. Yarn that has gone out, that I have used, either used or destashed. I have actually destashed a bit of yarn. 2,392 grams, which is roughly 2.4 kilos of yarn. So it's pretty much even. I mean, I have bought 400 grams more than I have used, but also there is a lot of that yarn somewhere in works that I'm still working on. So I haven't added them to the list yet. This blue blanket, green-blue blanket that I've shown last time, I have bought 500 grams of that long alpaca socks yarn specifically for that blanket. So it is already on the list here for what I have bought, but I have not put it on the list what I've used yet because it's not finished. But I have actually used some of that yarn. Do you know what I mean? So it's in my estimation, it's probably quite even. Maybe I've bought a little bit more than I have used. Which brings me to acquisitions, just a very small section for acquisitions, because I have actually bought yarn. I try not to buy too much yarn, as I have said. One acquisition that has come in last month is from how do you call this? Subscription. From a yarn subscription, and I usually don't do those because there's always more yarn coming in than I can use. So I did this yarn subscription for this year, and I will not do it again because I just simply, there's one skein of sock yarn coming in every month, and I just simply cannot keep up with it. My plan was to, my illusion was to knit a sock per month with these yarns, but sometimes I like knitting socks and then I don't knit socks for like 6 months. So yeah, I'm not keeping up with it. And then also I realized I don't use 100 grams of yarn for a sock. So I always have about 40 grams left. So I will not extend the subscription. Anyway, this is the yarn that has come in. And it is really beautiful, right? So this is a Swiss hand dyer. Her name is Julia, just like me. And I'm not quite sure about the name of the brand. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to pronounce it. I think it's Julia's Atelier, like Jule. Jule is the nickname for Julia in some parts of Switzerland and also in Germany, I think. So Jule. It's probably Jule. Jule's Atelier. But for a long time, I actually pronounced it in my head like Jules or Cheel. But I guess that's wrong. I guess it's Jule's Atelier. So this is the label, and this is part of the sock yarn subscription. And this is the yarn that arrived in July, and it is called Farbenspiel, so the play of colors. And this is a very typical sock base, 27 polyamide, 75 merino superwash, and 420 meters for 100 grams. I haven't weighed it yet. It's usually a little bit more than 100 grams. Yeah, so this has come in, and I think it's really nice. I'm looking forward to making socks with this. I don't always use her yarns to make socks. I sometimes use them to make accessories for my kids. Her yarns are usually quite colorful, and sometimes it contains colors that just, are my kids' current favorite colors. So they see it and they go, oh, I like that. Can you make me a hat? Okay, I can do that. So yeah. And then my other acquisition, I decided I have so many projects on small needles. I need something on bigger needles. I just, also for my hands to get a little bit of, different gauge and different feel with different needles. So I sometimes have this thing where I'm really obsessed with a color. I just get so obsessed with a certain color, and it has to be that specific color. And I suddenly see it everywhere. And so I had that kind of obsession last weekend. I actually spent whole Sunday researching yarn. And the idea is I want a cardigan. I actually really love wearing cardigans, and I don't have that many hand-knit cardigans. I need to make more cardigans. So I have this one, which is store-bought. I was so obsessed with this color, and it had to be exactly this color. So I already had yarn that matches the color almost perfectly. And this is the Regia. I actually already showed this yarn base last time. Regia Premium Silk by Schachenmeier, which is 55% wool, 25% polyamide, and 20% silk. So I wanted this color. But at first I only had one ball, and this is I already used parts of it, so it's 90 grams, I think. And I noticed with this yarn that it does pill a bit. So I was a little hesitant to use it. So I was searching for a long time, like a whole weekend, to find yarn in exactly this color. And I wanted to make something in a bigger gauge. I will probably knit the April cardigan because it has a similar kind of shape. And I wanted a V-neck, and I wanted to try the shoulder shaping that she has in the by Petite Knit, the April cardigan. It was quite easy to find the first of the two yarns that I'm using, so I chose the Knitting for Olive Merino in the colorway Rust. I had actually never used this yarn base before. One reason being, for a very long time, it wasn't super available in Switzerland. When it got like really popular, it started to appear in the online shops also in Switzerland. I have used the Pure Silk before, and it's just too difficult for me to pick a color because they have so many similar colors, and because I'm so picky about color, I think with their colors, although they have beautiful colors, it sometimes happens that you pick the wrong shade of similar colors. But with this one, I'm really happy. I bought 5 balls of this. I need to add this to my notebook, 250 grams in. And then I ordered, what kind of gave me a headache because I had to research for such a long time. I didn't want to use a mohair. So I was looking for a mohair substitution, and I was looking for like a suri base, but I never found the exact color that I wanted. In the end, I ended up ordering Midnight Sol from Camarose. But the color on screen, I also went to Ravelry, and you can see other people's photos of the yarn, and the color varied so much between different photos. It was so difficult to know what the exact color was. Sometimes it was like very similar to this, and sometimes it was more like an orange.
And I just had to order it and see for myself. And unfortunately, it ended up being more orange than I wanted. So I sent it back. But then I thought, you already have this yarn in the perfect color. And I know it probably is a little bit prone to pilling. Somebody also commented on Ravelry that it pilled a lot. But I thought, you will hold it with another yarn, so that will kind of mitigate this issue. You see, there's already a pill. There's already fuzz coming off. I don't know if it's the silk. But it will probably be okay if I hold it with something else. And if I buy like a suri or a mohair, it will also have this kind of fuzzy halo texture. So I decided, let's just try it. I went to the store where I bought this, wanted to buy it, and the person who worked there said, this brand has actually gone out of business. So I had to kind of hunt for yarn again. And I bought it. I found it online, this colorway, and I didn't know if it would. I already had a ball, so I actually didn't need to buy. I only need. This is 100. Well, now it's 90, but a full ball is 100 grams. So I probably only needed to order 2, which would then give me like 300 grams. But I thought I bought this over a year ago. What are the chances of this looking exactly the same? Maybe I should play safe and order more yarn, especially since the brand has gone out of business. It will not be available for much longer. So let's just buy three full balls of this. And then it came, and I looked at the label, and it's not only the same color and everything, it's exactly the same dye lot. How often does this happen? So now I have this, and I will imitate this, and I'm just so obsessed with this color. I think it goes really well with navy, and it also goes really well with denim, and I just love it. Again, thank you to everybody who sent me a nice message or who wrote a nice comment on my last video. It was really, really great. It takes a little bit of it takes a little bit of a push to put a video of oneself on the internet. I feel it was definitely an exercise for me in confidence. But it was so great to have such a positive feedback. So thank you very much. It really meant a lot. And now I will, after editing, I will also put some footage, hopefully, probably not too long, maybe a couple of minutes, at the end, where I show you my beautiful home country, the beautiful mountain area in Switzerland in summer. It's just so beautiful. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you have a great time wherever you are. Take care of yourself. I hope you find some joy in crafting, and have a good time. I will probably record again in a couple of weeks, so I will see you again then. Bye!